Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I want to have a bit of a discussion, another Boruto discussion. I know I haven't done one in a while, but honestly the last one that I did didn't really do all that well. It didn't really get a lot of views. It didn't really get a lot of interaction with my audience, so I figured that maybe there wasn't really all that much interest in these types of videos. But I decided, look, let me just make another one, and if this one does well, then hopefully it'll inspire me to make more of these, because I do have a lot of interesting topics in mind. And well, like I said, let's just see how this one goes, and maybe I'll get to them if again I see there's any interest to them. So the discussion that I wanted to have today, as you probably guessed from the title, is whether or not there's any relation between the curse mark and specifically the karma mark. Because if you were to look at them, there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of very interesting similarities between the curse mark and the karma mark. Now, yes, you could say that maybe the only similarities are just in the aesthetics. Both users, whether it's the curse mark or the karma mark, there are a lot of aesthetic similarities. Like, both users have a mark somewhere on their bodies, and whenever they activate them, you see these markings going all over their bodies, and it basically gives them an incredible boost in power. That is true. However, I am just wondering, or at the very least I'm curious about whether or not there's more relation to them. Or specifically, I want to just ask the question, if maybe Orochimaru, on some level, like, I always wonder, like, where exactly did he even get the idea of creating the curse mark? Because if you think about it, and I think, because we know that Orochimaru and Tsunade used to know each other, like they used to work together. And we know that Tsunade knows, of course, about the Byakugou seal. Now, I think it was revealed in chapter 36 that the Byakugou seal goes all the way back to the Sage of Six Paths era, so it goes all the way back then. So that tells me that there's possibly a link between the Byakugou seal and the Karma seal, if it really does go all the way back to the Sage of Six Paths era. Because it could be possible that maybe the people who developed the Byakugou seal based it on the karma marks. Like, maybe there were people who had karma back then, and they decided they wanted to make their own version of it, and they created the Byakugou seal. And quite possibly there are maybe other variations of it. Because if you think about it, there's also similarities between the Byakugou seal that Tsunade and Sakura use and the Karma seal. For one thing, again, there's the aesthetic similarities, like the fact that both markings are shaped like diamonds, and both of them are somewhere on the person's body. And in terms of Tsunade and Sakura, we see it on their foreheads. With Jigen, we saw it on his chin, and with Kawaki and Boruto, it's on the palm of either of their hands. With Boruto, it's his right hand, and with Kawaki, it's his left hand. So again, I'm wondering if maybe there's a lot of similarities, like maybe there's a connection that we might possibly see explored later in the series. Because I think in the latest chapter, they even brought up the fact that there's still a lot that people do not know about karma. Like, maybe there's more to it. Because if you remember, there is code. Code still has the karma mark, but unlike the one that Boruto and Kawaki have, it's not one that's made to make a person a vessel for another Otsutsuki. Whereas with Boruto and Kawaki, it turned out that they were suitable to be vessels for Otsutsukis. But at the same time, Boruto and Kawaki also gain an enormous advantage with the karma mark, and that is the fact that they gain access to Otsutsuki level techniques. Like, for example, we saw in the previous chapter 55, that they were able to open space-time ninjutsu portals. Like, Boruto and Kawaki worked together to open a portal that was able to send them back to Konoha. And it's possible that in the future they might be able, if they master the karma mark, it's possible they'll be able to gain access to other Otsutsuki level abilities. And if you remember, we saw with Jigen, during his fight with Naruto and Sasuke were putting up a pretty good fight. But it wasn't until Jigen activated his karma mark and he started drawing on Ishiki's power that it gave him the advantage that he needed in order to actually beat Naruto and Sasuke. And remember, Naruto and Sasuke are no joke. Like, they are two, without a doubt, the two strongest shinobi in the shinobi world. Now, granted, they're not as strong as they could be because, again, like, I think it's been made pretty obvious that they've been nerfed because of the plot, but that's neither here nor there. But still, like, once Jigen activated the Karma Mark and he started drawing on Ishiki's power, it gave him an incredible boost, enough to basically mollywop Naruto and Sasuke, again, as powerful as they are. And if you think about it again, like, that is eerily similar to what happened, back when Sasuke gained the curse mark. Whenever he activated it, he always gained an incredible boost in power, both in physical strength and when it came to his techniques. Like, they were all boosted with power. And the same thing with Tsunade and Sakura. Whenever they activate the Byakugou seal, their strength is enhanced and insane, and they also gain access to mitotic regeneration, which is an ability that just heals any damage the user's body gains, and they don't even need to think about it. It's immediately healed. And to me, again, like, there are way too many similarities between the Karma Mark or the Curse Mark and the Byakugou seal to the Karma Mark. And again, the Byakugou seal, it makes sense because, again, it was stated to go all the way back to the Sage of Six Paths era. So again, it's possible that people during that time knew about the Karma Mark of the Otsutsuki and probably needed something in order to be able to fight against that kind of power. So they decided to develop their own techniques that are similar to them, to where whenever they activate them, they gain these incredible boosts in power, although it does come at a cost. Because I remember in Tsunade's case, whenever she activates the Byakugou seal, she always, like, it tends to consume a lot of her chakra, and whereas with Sakura, it doesn't really have that weakness. So maybe it's possible to overcome those weaknesses. And in the case of Boruto and Kawaki, whenever they activate the Karma Mark, they also gain access to, like, those Otsutsuki level of power, of abilities. And Boruto could probably also draw on Momoshiki's power, and Kawaki could do the same with Ishiki. Well, technically, maybe not, because Ishiki's dead. And so, but it is possible he could still gain some levels of ability, of power. But if you think about it, like, Kawaki doesn't really have the Karma Mark anymore since it got removed, but his body has been modified to now be basically 80% Otsutsuki. So it's possible even without the Karma Mark, although we do see him in that flash forward, he does have the Karma Mark again, so we don't really know how he gets it back. We'll have to wait and see. But even without it, he still has access to those abilities due to the fact that his body is now 80% Otsutsuki. So Kawaki could still become a pretty formidable opponent. But another question that I kind of wanted to ask in regards to this whole discussion is, do you think that maybe we will see Naruto and Sasuke sometime in the future possibly gain their own sort of variation on the karma? Now, I say that because, again, we saw Code, he has the Karma Mark, but again, it's not like the one that Boruto and Kawaki have. And yet, despite that, Kawaki still gained an incredible boost in power by getting the Karma Mark. His Karma Mark does still give him some very interesting abilities. Like, for example, it allows him to modify his body to become weapons. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll see Naruto and maybe Sasuke gain something similar to that, because considering the latest events after their fight with Ishiki Otsutsuki, Sasuke having, technically Sasuke lost the Rinnegan to Momoshiki, even though I think that's absolutely stupid. But yeah, the fact that Sasuke doesn't have access to his Rinnegan anymore, and the fact that Naruto doesn't have access to the Kyuubi, granted, let's just make this clear, Naruto and Sasuke on their own are still incredibly formidable opponents, okay? They're still incredibly powerful. Like, they're still no joke. But you can't deny that the Kyuubi and the Rinnegan were, without a doubt, their most powerful assets. And now that they don't have them anymore, and I'm still waiting to see what happens with Sasuke, because again, like, unlike Naruto, Sasuke could still find ways to get his Rinnegan back, but Naruto can't get the Kyuubi back because, again, Kurama's gone. So, I mean, unless they introduce some way to bring him back, but we'll have to wait and see. But just in case that doesn't happen, we'll know that because of how powerful Code is, And the thing is, we still don't know exactly how powerful he is. We know he's stronger than Jigen, but they never specified exactly which version of Jigen are we talking about. Are we talking about just regular Jigen, or are we talking about Jigen with a Ten Tails chakra amp, or are we talking Jigen with a Ten Tails chakra amp and with a karma mark activated? Because there are different versions of Jigen. We know for a fact he's not powerful than Ishiki, because I'm sorry, like, if you're telling me the code is even more powerful than Ishiki, then I am sorry, there's nothing that anyone can do in order to stop him. So they did say specifically that he's more powerful than Jigen, and now that Naruto and Sasuke don't have their most powerful assets, I feel like they're gonna need something in order to be able to give them that boost in power that they need to take down someone like Code. And if I think about it, and again, this is just my sort of theory as to what might happen. We'll find out later because the chapter is supposed to come out in 5 days, at least as of the recording of this video. So we'll see eventually. But I'm guessing that since, the fact that the fact that people don't know that much about Karma Mark was brought up in chapter 56, I'm wondering if maybe, like, because we know that Sasuke, one of the things that he's been doing during all this time, like after the war, is he's been sort of protecting the shinobi world from the shadows. And one way he's been doing that is using his Rinnegan to explore Kaguya's dimension and looking for any signs that there might be more Otsutsukis on their way. But now that he doesn't have that anymore, I feel like he might need, because he doesn't have the Rinnegan anymore, I feel like he might need another way in order to do that. And one way he could do that is if he found a way to sort of gain abilities that are similar to that through another method. And one method I can surmise is the Karma Mark, because again, it was stated that Code has abilities that are similar to what Sasuke had, at least when it comes to space-time ninjutsu, and the fact that he can go in and out of dimensions on his own, but he doesn't have that. It's an ability that is kind of similar to that. So I'm wondering if maybe in the future we'll see Sasuke probably go out to find more information on the karma, and maybe it's possible that he'll bring some information that'll sort of give him and Naruto sort of the boost that they need, so that should later on we face another Otsutsuki level threat, this might be the only way for Naruto to be able to realistically fight them, because now that he doesn't have the power of the Kyuubi anymore, it would be a more, again, I still maintain the fact that Naruto and Sasuke are still formidable on their own, but that those abilities granted to them by karma, or at least their own variation of whatever their karma abilities could be, we'll have to wait and see. But it could be the thing that gives them the advantage that they need. Excuse me. So I think I've talked about everything I wanted to say, guys. Those are just my thoughts on this topic that I wanted to bring up. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Do you think that I'm reading too much into this? Do you think that the only thing that's similar between the karma and the curse seal and the Byakugou seal is that it's just aesthetics? Like, it's just, Kishimoto probably thought that, the karma mark, like, it could be similar to the curse seal or the Byakugou seal. So I thought, maybe I'll just make it aesthetically similar. But other than that, there's really no connection. And do you think that maybe we'll see Naruto and Sasuke have their own version of karma in the future in order to give them that boost that they probably need in order to fight Otsutsuki level threats now that their most powerful assets have been taken away from them? But that's all I have to say on this, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, remember to like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't. And again, if you enjoy these types of videos, especially subscribe and click the bell icon, because that will definitely inspire me to make more of these in the future. With all that said, remember to stay safe and take care of yourselves. And of course, as always, join me for the next video. Bye for now.